Hi, welcome to Knitting Noodles. My name is Adira, and today I'm going to be showing you a simple recipe for making a knit scarf. Now, recipes are different than patterns. The video that I have on how to make a hat, I think it's this side, that one is a hat recipe which gives guidelines for what you have to do to make it. It's not a set pattern, it's kind of like a formula that you use. So in this one, I'm going to show you a formula for how to make a cute scarf. I'm going to give you a few different options, and depending on what you want, what you like are making for someone else, you can choose any one of these. So these are two options here. This is just a simple garter stitch. This one is a 2x2 ribbing. You could also do stockinette. Everything is going to lay different, so you choose what's going to work best for you. Without any further ado, let's get right into yarn choice and needles, as well as what stitch you're going to use. Alright, to start this process out, what you want to do is pick your yarn of choice. First comes the yarn, second comes all the details. You can choose a lot of patterns. You would choose the pattern first, and then you choose the yarn based on the pattern, but for a recipe, you usually work around the type of yarn that you pick or want to work with. So for this, I have two choices here. I rolled these into yarn cakes with my new Christmas present yarn winder. These are two that I normally wouldn't use. It's a wool and acrylic blend, but I am going to be making this as a present for someone else, and just seemed like a good use for these yarns that I'm probably not going to use for myself. Now for these are both clearance yarns from Hobby Lobby. They're the same brand, just different colors. 70% acrylic, 30% wool, and then it tells you right over here the details. For a scarf, depending on what you want from your scarf, you would go up, usually up, or stay the same, because you don't want a scarf that's too stiff and won't drape around your neck. So for this, it says to use a US 7, which I'm going to use the recommended size. If you wanted something that's more lacy and open, you could go up a few needle sizes. Now to get into the different patterns that you could use.
I just want to make it clear here that I am only talking about basic stitch patterns in this video. Nothing fancy, no moss stitch, even though that is on the basic side, no woven stitch, nothing like that, all of which you can do a scarf in. For this, we're just going to be covering the basics, which is garter, stockinette, and ribbing.
So this is a doll scarf that's knit in just plain garter stitch. Super simple stitch, it's just knit both sides, which probably I'm going to be working in garter stitch. The other option is a ribbing. This is a very worn out scarf. It's very old, but this was done in knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. This was done actually on a hat loom, one of those knitting loom things, when me and my siblings were much younger. So you can tell it's very old. But it's the same idea with knitting. It's literally the same exact thing. But if you want something that's more like this is a lot thicker and warmer. It has stretch to it. It won't ever stretch this far, so you want to keep in mind if you're doing this to basically double up the width, because you're only ever going to see the knit side. You're never going to see the purl, because the purl is going to be scrunched under. So if you want a scarf like this, you want to make it maybe a few stitches wider than you would this. Now the other option you have is straight up stockinette stitch. So this is a sample of stockinette stitch. As you can see, the ends curl. If you make something in stockinette stitch, it will never lay flat. It's going to be curled up like this. So no matter how big you get it, no matter how much you block it, because it's a scarf and it's going to be tugged on, pulled on, draped around, it's always going to curl like this. So if you want maybe a really thin scarf, like one of those, I think they're trending right now, those little like shoelace type scarves, then I would go for a stockinette stitch because it also looks really clean for something like that, especially. So with that in mind, that's going to determine how many stitches you cast out on. You want to know like how, on your personal taste, if you want garter stitch, it is going to lay flat, so you don't have to do any work thinking about like, is this going to shrink to half the size because there's purl stitches involved, or is this going to shrink to half or more because it's stockinette stitch and it's going to curl up. So for a beginner scarf, I'd recommend garter stitch. However, both other ones are also fun. Like I said, I am going to be doing garter stitch, and I think I'm going to be going with this color because I like the speckles of warmth in here. Let me grab my needles and then we'll cast right on and get this process started. Alright, so for measuring this, depending on how wide and bulky you want your scarf to be, you kind of want to determine that. I think for this, I want like a super warm scarf. So I have a lot of this, and like I said, I'm not going to use it for myself, so I want to use as much of this as possible. So I'm probably going to do like almost one of those blanket scarves that are super duper wide and can just be draped over you and are also going to be super warm. If you wanted to do something like that with ribbing, you would have to double what you think it is. So while it's spread out on your needle, it's going to look like it's this big, but it's actually going to be half of that when it's worn right here because of the scrunching that happens with ribbing. And the same idea for stockinette. So you could see this big on the needle. If you let it drop, it's less than half because it rolls up into a little thing. But if you want a thinner scarf, like more of a decorative type of scarf, this would look really cute. So kind of judge by that. And like I said, I wanted a really thick one, so I'm probably gonna do probably more than the whole needle, so I'm gonna have some scrunch stitches. I'm gonna cast on that many. Oop. Now you can do gauge before this, but personally, scarves, in my opinion, are more of a loose pattern item where you don't necessarily need gauge. Now what gauge is you cast on number of stitches. Like this is a gauge swatch for the sweater, baby sweater that I just finished right here. That kind of tells you how the yarn is going to act and how it measures up. You cast on a certain number of stitches, work a certain number of rows, and then you count in an inch how many stitches across and how many stitches up. And that determines your gauge. So if you want something that is, let's say 10 inches, you've already done the math and know how many stitches it takes to fit into 1 inch. So if you want 10 inches, you know how many stitches and how many rows it will take to achieve that. So if you want an exact measurement for how wide it is, I do a quick gauge swatch, cast on like 10 to 20 stitches, work 10 to 20 rows, and then measure that how many stitches fit into an inch and how many rows can fit into an inch, if you want to do that math. Right now, I don't really care. So I'm just going to cast on a ton of stitches see where it takes me. And honestly, I think anything is going to be better than a tiny thin scarf. So the more the better for what I want to make. So let's take it to casting on. If you need to review how to cast on, I have a video. I always forget what corner it's going to show up in. I think it's this one. There'll be a video there to take you to the beginner cast on. I do also have another video, which I'll put up now, that has more advanced cast on. So like tubular cast on and German longtail cast on, which is my go-to. So if you're looking at me casting on and wondering what's going on, you didn't cover that in the first video. It's a more advanced technique, but I also have a video now up for that. So enough chitter chatter, let's get to work and get this going. Okay, so I finished casting on. I ended up casting on 75 stitches on here. So this is gonna be a really big, wide blanket. And this also is a thicker weight. This is about a 4. So on the thicker end, even though it's a mid-weight yarn. For me, this is thick. And then I am just going to work in garter stitch. So just knitting. This is kind of a mindless project, kind of just a relaxing watch TV and chill project, which is probably what I'm gonna end up doing with this. But before I jump into a time lapse, I just want to say one of the tips that I have for garter stitch, one of the best tips that I've learned from watching other videos, for keeping a clean edge, which you're gonna want for a scarf especially because people are gonna see your edges, is to make sure, so you know how you normally poke all the way through and knit, for the last like 3 stitches, you want to barely go through. You want to keep those as tight as possible, keep them as close to the end of your needles as possible, like this, and that will keep the ends nice and tight and keep. There's always one side that gets really loose and wonky. Let me see if you can tell in this scarf. This one honestly is pretty neat. My sister made this one. Her knitting is pretty tight in general, but you can kind of see the edges. Let me get this in frame. How it's pulled a little bit. This side is a lot cleaner than this side. So if you want both of your sides as even and tight as possible, you just want to make sure that you're basically widening those stitches as little as possible. So keep them on the tip of your needles, and that'll help for keeping nice, straight, even edges. All right, it's a time lapse. Alright, it is 9 p.m. right now. I spent probably 1.5, 2 hours working on this. This is how far I got. It's actually looking really good so far. I made it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Yeah, 30. It's an even row. 30 rows in. This is what it looks like. I am probably gonna need over 100. So I'm gonna try to film and work on it as much as I can this weekend, but I am probably not gonna finish it until next week. When I do finish it and give it as a gift to the person I'm making this for, I'll have the next video. I'll probably include a little snippet of finishing it off and her modeling it. But I'll take you along for as much as I can, but I am gonna have to stop filming at like Saturday so that I can edit. So you're gonna have to wait until next Monday to get the full reveal of what this looks like. But pretty impressive for only a few hours of work. This is a huge scarf. Like, you can't really see. Let me work half of a row so I can actually spread it out so you can see how large it is. This is inspired by a video I saw on TikTok of a woman who made herself a blanket scarf, and then she went to a book signing, and the author who was signing the books loved her scarf, and basically I think gave her like a collaboration deal and a place for her to market the scarves, because these do take a lot of work and time. And she was super excited about it, and I just think that the scarf looked super comfortable, so I wanted to make it for this friend. Alright, I worked half of the row. This is the full length of it. It's huge. It looks so nice with the two-colored... It's twisted with two different colors. It's only a 2-ply. But it looks so nice worked up like that. This is gonna look so cool. So my idea is to make like an infinity scarf. So once I finish however long I want it, I'm gonna sew the two ends together and just have a really nice drapey infinity blanket scarf. Now I probably could have gone up a needle size for a little bit of a looser drape. This is gonna be super duper warm. Kinda gonna have to fold it in half. Probably put it over your head as well. That's how big it's gonna be. But I really like it. Hopefully she likes it. I just love how that looks. It almost looks like it makes words, but it doesn't. That's so nice. But yeah, I'll give an update tomorrow how far I'm able to get this. But I think I'm calling it quits for today. I'm gonna finish the row that I started, and I'll pick it up again tomorrow. So I have other projects that I have to get finished as well. Alright, see everyone tomorrow. Alright, it is the end of Friday night, and this is how much I was able to do. I got a second section of that cool marbling with the warm orange and red. Not as much as I was hoping to get done today, but I had a lot of other things to do. So this is definitely gonna take me a week to finish. I'll film tomorrow, see how far I get, and then after that, I'm gonna have to wait until next week for a full reveal of what it looks like. But basically, I'm just gonna work until I can get a comfortable wrap around the neck and then sew the ends together. I might do like a Kitchener type situation if I can figure it out. Or I'll just sew the ends together at the end, who knows. There is a chance that I might run out of this color. If that happens, I have this blue. It looks nothing like this at all. But my idea was having half with this color and then the other half with this color, just in case this isn't enough, which there is a very likely chance there isn't going to be. So I think it'll still look cool with like a 50-50 color. I'm gonna finish this row and then I'm gonna go to bed. Alright, this is my final update before I post my video. I honestly had a lot going on Saturday and Sunday, so this is being filmed Monday night, literally right before I post my video. To update where I actually ended up on my infinity blanket scarf. This right here is how far we got over the weekend. Again, I did say I had a bit of stuff going on. I had, let's see, work on Sunday. I didn't get any sleep that night, so I went to bed early. And then Saturday, I don't know, I just wasn't really in the mood to knit, I don't think. And also, my boyfriend came home late from work, so he wasn't really able to help out with the baby's nighttime routine, so wasn't able to get as much as I would like done. But it's looking really good. I'm a little nervous if I can even get this done by Saturday. We'll see. I might be able to. I mean, honestly, it's such an easy pattern. It's just for some reason, something's holding me back from, like, getting really excited about this. Maybe because there's no interest going on, it's just straight up garter. But it is such an easy pattern. And it looks really nice. And it's gonna look so cool as a little blanket scarf. I don't know. Some kind of blockage is going on up here because I have a more complicated project. Let me just show it quickly because I'm so excited about it. This is one of my first color works, and literally I breezed through this because I was so excited about it. And it's so much fun to make. This one is taking a little longer, but it's gonna get done. And you will be seeing it in the next video next week. I'm sorry that I couldn't get it all finished in one video. I hate doing that. I like when everything's all together in one video. But I did want to make this a really nice gift for someone, so I didn't want to skimp on that and give them, like, a cruddy present. Or make something that I myself don't even really like. I love how big this is. I think it's gonna be super cool. And that's kind of what I set out for anyway, to make a big blanket scarf. So I was setting myself up for disaster. I don't know, it's pretty long. I'd say I'm like a fifth of the way there. Only need a few more days to get it. But if you found this video helpful at all, let me know. If you didn't find it helpful, let me know. Maybe I can fix some stuff, clarify some things, because I know sometimes I'm bleh, bleh, bleh. Like I said, chaos knitting. That's what I do. If you want to share your finished scarf, and in some way were inspired by me, tag me on Instagram. Use hashtag knitting noodles, spelled like the channel with a K, knitting Knoodles. Or tag my Instagram, which I'll put somewhere on the screen. And I'll put, if you're okay with it, I'll put it on one of the next videos. If you have any project that is inspired by one of my videos, please feel free to tag me. You can find all my socials down below. Tag me, use hashtag knitting noodles, and I will find you and ask your permission. But if you want to, I will put your stuff up on screen in a video. Because I'm excited to see what people make. I love seeing other people create things. So, yeah. I'll see you all next week, and I will show this beauty when it's done, probably next week. Alright guys, bye!